not a comedian, but like anyone, I appreciate good comedy. But I said good comedy. Even when comedy is an art form, meaning that there's still a matter of opinions about it, there's still techniques being used to make good comedy, well, good. Keep in mind that this is all just my own opinion. I like to discuss a few common ideas from well-crafted jokes to keep in mind when creating comedy. First, the best comedy comes from planning and writing. It's difficult to sort of improvise good comedy where the actors are given too much liberty to improvise. Secondly, the usual way to structure a joke is with a setup and then a payoff. In a show, you normally have jokes or gags where you set up what's going to happen and then you have a payoff with the joke.
Isn't this top security? Yeah. Well, shouldn't we activate the cone of silence?
First of all, how much?
Oh, I think in 1957.
How's that? What?
57.
Agent 57 is in Hong Kong. Hong Kong.
The great beast appeared before me. I tell you, he was 10 stories high if he was a foot. As I watched him struggling, I realized that something was obstructing its breathing. And I found myself right on top of him, face to face with the blowhole. I knew something was there. So I reached my hand in, felt around, and pulled out the obstruction.
And this doesn't just apply to comedy shows. Any form of media can follow this formula.
Take it easy. We got plenty of time.
Nobody tosses a dwarf. Cannot jump the distance, you'll have to touch me. Don't tell the elf.
He said it was called a butt.
Wow, that's a pretty big butt.
Don't touch the butt. Nemo!
He touched the butt.
Thirdly, most comedy shows mostly consist of a subgenre known as sitcoms or situation comedy, where you have a group of characters that are thrown into a unique situation and they have to figure out how to deal with that situation. A YouTuber called Giguk said something rather interesting where he pointed out, your characters give you the situations and challenges. You don't write situations and challenges for your characters. Otherwise, you might want to rethink your characters as they're probably not funny. I'd also like to focus on a particular show that does comedy extremely well, and it's an anime called Konosuba. In Konosuba, you're introduced to a really rich cast of characters, and each with their own quirks and charisma. So you have the main protagonist, Kazuma. He's your average teen from the real world. He's been dropped in a fantasy world on a dangerous quest. He's smart, but often gets, well, laid astray. Then there's Aqua. She's the goddess of water who's been sent to make sure that Kazuma fulfills his quest. Where she lacks in intelligence, she makes up in her charm. Then you have Darkness. She's the undefeated, super strong, and super tough crusader with superior loyalty to her comrades. But she can't actually hit anything with her sword, and when she's in battle, she gets, flustered. I'm keeping this video PG. Watch the full show to know what I'm talking about. And then there's Megameme, a crimson demon who's addicted to her strong explosion magic that can wipe away whole armies with a single blast, but she becomes paralyzed right after she uses it for a whole day. This is the main cast. In the show, the main party is on a constant quest to defeat the main villain. However, their constant quirks and personalities clash and cause even the simplest of challenges to become something a lot more complicated than it really should. This is what makes the show hilarious. Fourthly, let's talk about another subgenre of comedy, slapstick. I would describe slapstick humor as a quicker and cheaper jokes than gags. Slapstick doesn't require you to really think about the joke as much as it's meant to be this flattering sort of sprinkles, chocolate sauce, and cherries on the cake, like a gag. The slapstick is meant to go every sort of once in a while to make the moment in your show a lot more interesting. But if your cake is floppy and depressing, then a fat lot of good a bunch of sprinkles will do. When done right, slapstick can make a scene just that much better.
Buzz, will you get up here and give me a hand? That's very funny.
It's a little tight across the chest. Does anyone know where they are?
So, hey, Helen, bye, Jack.
Nice of you to drop by.
Never heard that one before.
Weapons. Jet, pack it up.
What? I just put the...
This is one of the reasons why I don't enjoy shows like, say, Brooklyn Nine-Nine or The Office or most other comedy shows, as they all depend on this cheap and quick humor. If you enjoy this type of humor, that's fine too. It's just important that when you're writing your own show, that you find your own style that you enjoy most. Fifthly, remember that at the end of the day, you're writing comedy. It needs to be funny. I've seen too many shows, movies, and even stand-up comedy try to stray from comedy and try to become something that they're not. For instance, like the show Big Bang Theory, which was hilarious for its first few seasons, but then started to think of itself as a more serious romance show, and then all the humor just got sucked right out of the show. One episode, the main character Sheldon, who's known for his social issues, tells his girlfriend that he'd like to break up. The show cuts to black, no laughing, no music, just dramatic and sad cliffhanger. For sakes, this is a comedy, for crying out loud. Also, if I'm to be honest, in Pirates of the Caribbean 4 and 5, I absolutely hate the character Scrum with every fiber of my being. This character represents how one of my favorite franchises turned sour when you had pirates who were both quirky yet brilliant and became
Stupid yet stupid.
Keep in mind that I'm not faulting the actor Stephen Graham for this. Like, the dude is super talented and he's actually funny. It's that the character Scrum is a literal idiot and brings no further help to the plot at all. Not even in the slightest. And this is actually a really good segue into my final point. You need to have characters, even in your comedy shows, that have a good balance between good qualities mixed with their quirks. Not all characters need to be brainless morons who get in the way or say and do dumb things, and otherwise be completely useless to the plot, such as the case in Scrum with Pirates of the Caribbean. For instance, in Konosuba, all the characters have great qualities along with their quirks. The main character, Cosma, can be a jerk, but he truly does care for his friends, and he's strategically brilliant on the battlefield. Aqua can lack intelligence, but she too cares for her friends and wants to make others happy, and her relationship with Kazuma throughout the entire show and movie feels more like a sibling relationship. Darkness will do anything she can to save anyone she cares for, and then you have Megameme, who's witty and charming. Let's look at another show that does this sort of balancing act extremely well, and that's the show Avatar: The Last Airbender. The main character, Aang, acts very childish, but he does gain more wisdom throughout the show, and he always strives to do the right thing. Katara can be tempered and controlling, but learns empathy, sympathy, and compassion. Sokka can say or do the wrong thing at times and can feel insignificant as a non-bender, but he's strategically brilliant, resourceful, and his relationship with his sister Katara grows from siblings who can't stand each other to two kids who will never abandon each other and will always support one another. And then Toph is headstrong and can be a bit tempered, but she's also very, very resourceful and witty. So just to recap what we discussed, write and plan out your jokes and gags. Improvising comedy usually becomes flat and uninteresting. You'll want to structure your jokes with a setup and payoff method. Writing sitcom is when you have characters create the situation. Writing situations for your characters ends up not being funny. Slapstick is a good trick to bring humor once in a while for quick laughs, but don't rely on this too much. Remember to write comedy and stick to it. Adding serious or sad moments will sour your theme once in a while. Finally, your characters in comedy can have redeeming qualities that makes them a more wholesome character that you can actually like. There you have it. I hope you learned a thing or two about writing comedy. I hope these give you some great ideas and suggestions. If you have any further ideas and tips, please let me know down in the comments. Maybe one of these days I'll bring on an actual comedian to have this discussion. Meanwhile, please like and subscribe. Please follow along. Great videos every single week. Thanks very much for all the support. I hope this helps you out. Good luck, and I will see you next time.